Welcome to a new Daily Top Ask Reddit video. Today's topic: what scares you as an adult that didn't bother you as a kid? Lack of time. As a kid, felt like I had all the time in the world. As an adult, I feel like I have no time to do anything other than work. Taking away the moments that make up a dull day. Yes, I've been made aware that it's ticking, thanks guys. I played a bluegrass rendition of this song for a couple friends. They said the lyrics were really powerful and asked what song it was. When I told them Pink Floyd, they immediately dismissed the song as stupid hippie shit. Edit: alright guys, put your pitchforks away, it was just a dig at me for being the one in our group who goes to music festivals regularly. Edit 2, the song is by Greasky Bluegrass. Jumping down from a height greater than a few feet. As a kid I could jump off a roof and roll with it. Nowadays if I land funny I fear I'll be paralyzed for life. When I was 13, my brother and I jumped from our roof onto the trampoline. Now I get into a seated position on the truck tailgate before sliding off the remaining 6 inches. And yet I still need to let out a moan and groan when I do even that. Other people's driving. I can barely sit through a car ride with my dad now without grabbing the oh shit bar. I felt that for a long time after driving for many years, but I recently realized I just don't trust other people's judgments on what to do in situations. Yup, I volunteer to drive most times because I truly just only trust myself, and something about me just wanting myself in the driver's shit if an accident was about to happen. I can barely concentrate on anything when I'm in the passenger seat. A tooth falling out. As a kid it was gross, funny and painful all at once. As an adult, horrifying. My dentist said that a couple of my teeth are a little mobile. Then he said it's nothing to really worry about, as if hearing teeth and mobile in the same sentence is ever good. Underrated comment. Scariest thing in this thread. I chipped a tooth like 2 years ago and I was sick to my stomach about it for an irrationally long time. Picked up a piece of candy out of a dish at work in February. I thought it was Spree Hearts. They were heart-shaped everlasting gobstoppers. Chipped a tooth and spent a week in a cloud of depression about how fucking stupid I had been. Dentist said it's NBD, but I still hate myself about it. Head injuries. As a kid, I thought broken bones were the big thing to worry about, because I could visualize what that was. I had no sense for the severity of brain injuries. As an adult, protecting my noggin is my #1 injury concern, because the human machine don't work with a damaged processor. Everything that you are and respect is contained in this tiny dome. One false move and you can become a monster to your peers, or a burden to your loved ones. It's pretty scary to consider that. This is actually something I've dealt with to an extent. I busted my head in a weird ice skating incident, pretty badly concussed. The people close to be around that time said I completely changed as a person following that. Lost a lot of friends. I only have very faint memories from before, and rely on others to jog my memory a bit. I consider myself lucky to not be worse. But I can't help but wonder how I'd react if I could somehow meet myself before that. Also I didn't have ADHD before, but I do now. That's fun, LMAO. My parents' mortality. I've already done the please don't die before I get to the hospital plane flight. Thankfully that was not the case for now. This one is kind of weird for me but completely true, because when you are a child, you see for parents' mortality as something so far away and that eventually you will be prepared, but is never the case. Recently my grandmother died after a long disease and what it struck me the most was the reaction from my mom. She said no somos nada, we are nothing. She was devastated and then it comes to my mind, one day I would be the one on her shoes and she will be on the coffin. The hard part is that is the best result, that you bury your parents, not the other way around. My mom's mom died when I was a toddler. At a funeral for someone else when I was an adult, my mom said if she knew how painful losing her mom was going to be, she would have had kids. You're never too old to want your mom. Getting out of bed in the morning after you slept in the wrong position. Me, it's nice to finally get 8 hours of sleep. My body, lol, but you did it wrong. I had no fear of U-Hauls until I rented a U-Haul. I filled out all of my information online and they gave me the keys to a 27-foot box truck. No training. No anything. They'll just let anyone take these massive vehicles and drive them off the lot. Give them a wide berth. Yup, kinda crazy. And those folks that drive the giant bus-sized RVs. Same thing. Truck and bus drivers. They know what they are doing, they have training. Rental trucks and giant RVs. I'll get as far away from you as possible. It's also often old people who buy these giant RVs as well around here, better safe than sorry. I reserved a small U-Haul, I think the 10, a few weeks in advance. Get there, sorry, we don't have any of those, we only have 26 trucks left. Fuuak, I was driving a 2-door coupe and had never driven anything bigger than a small SUV. I had to drive it through 2 cities. Scared the crap out of me the entire time. My biggest fear is that I'll end up requiring care by others when I grow older. I'd rather die before that. Also being stuck in my country and forced to live a mediocre life. I just turned 32 and I've been basically paraplegic for 4 years and it's awful. I wish I would just die. I feel like an anchor around the necks of everyone I love. They would mourn, but then they could just live their lives instead of carrying me around. I turned 63 this year and I've been a paraplegic for 40 years. I wish I could tell you it gets better. It doesn't. We get to have all the problems of aging and the problems of paraplegia. The only thing you can change is your attitude. When I found out back in 1980 that I'd never walk again, I cried, then dried my face and decided to get on with it. Fuck it. I'll do what I can with what I got. Best wishes on Life CD of Oz. They will miss you. They will. My disabled stepdaughter died a few months ago. Now we can go out without worrying who will watch her. We don't have to call off work when she's ill again. And we would suffer all the inconveniences 1,000 times over if it meant we could keep her in our lives. Signs of aging. When you're a kid, getting older means new and exciting changes. When you're in your 30s plus, it means far less fun things. I don't really sweat the cosmetic ones. I just try to think about the first lines to show up on my face were the ones you get from laughing. That feels right to me. The tendons in my legs not bouncing back from a walk or run, that I could do without. I don't mind the grey hairs. That's just showing I have some experience. But if those hairs start to run away, I'm going to be a whole lot less okay with it. I'm starting to get the "you've done the same job for 20 years" soreness. Those don't disappear as easily as before. Traveling in a car, especially if I'm not the one driving. I never used to be like that until I passed my test. Now I feel myself putting my foot down on an imaginary brake when in the passenger seat. I was a perfectly happy passenger until I learned to drive. I get horrible anxiety now and end up braking from the passenger seat too and bracing myself when we're behind another car. 7-year-old me, man, it's amazing how many adults are smart enough to run hundreds of cars around the city going super fast and not hit each other. Adult me, Adult me, it's amazing how all these fucking idiots don't kill themselves. I have noticed that my severity of curse words I use while driving goes up a notch compared to when I am not driving. Aesthesia. As a kid, I was led to believe that it was something magical that happened to you when you got your tonsils out, and then afterwards, you could eat all the ice cream you wanted. Now that I've had it as an adult and know that there's always a possibility it could go horribly wrong, I get really antsy and scared just thinking about it. The best sleep I ever had was because of aesthesia. I'm not sure I'd mind too much if I never woke up from a sleep that good. After all, so far as I would be concerned, it's just endless sleep, but then again I don't have family counting on me, so. // Oh my god, yes. The first time I went under aesthesia was to get my wisdom teeth pulled, and when I woke up it was the most refreshed I had ever been. Butterflies. I don't get it either. Oh, and teenagers. I think everybody's scared of teenagers. Even teenagers. This is probably true. The different breeds of teen fear each other, while the rest of us fear them all. Teenagers scare the living shot out of me. They could care less as long as someone to bleed. I am absolutely terrified of butterflies and moths. People laugh, but they are unpredictable as fuck. I have no idea where those things are about to go. And moths turn to dust when they die, nearly instantly. You know what else does that? Monsters. So no one believes you when you tell them about them. And moths turn to dust when they die, nearly instantly. Wait, what the fuck? That's terrifying. Edit, it's just their scales shedding, turns out. I can't believe someone would lie / exaggerate on the internet, of all places. Oh. Anything related to going to the hospital. When I was a kid, I was always in the emergency room with a deep cut or broken bone. Now that I realize it isn't as free as I thought it was when I was a kid, I'll make any excuse to not go to the hospital. Case in point, my wife, before we were married, went to the ER with severe abdominal pains and found out she had an infection in her gallbladder. So they removed it. Her hospital bill, because she went out of network and had an ER visit, was over $80,000. Meanwhile, I probably would have just died because I would have crunched down 100 Imodium before visiting the hospital. This is fucking sad, man. I can't imagine paying for going to the hospital. I can't imagine paying for going to the hospital. Probably because you live in a civilized country. / cries American Tez. Shit, I'm a doctor and I avoid the hospital at all costs. Luckily I can do a lot of the repairs myself, but I almost tore my brother a new one when he went to the ER for stitches. Ridiculously overpriced. I should say as well. Let's say you go to the ER for stitches. Your bill will probably be $1,500. You know how much the staff who actually cared for you will see of that. Probably about $300 split between all the providers you come face to face with. It's bananas. This is what I like about third world countries. You can call your friend the doctor and he will come to your house and sew you up for a few dollars. Same with dentists. I was visiting a guy who needed a tooth removed. Some dentist showed up to his house and pulled his tooth out just like that at his kitchen table. Cost effective and probably why people in these countries have pretty good immune systems.